was a UNF graduate, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago now. Living in Germany currently. What else do you want me to talk about particularly?
You graduated from which department?
The accelerated BSN program.
Okay.
Did a biology degree before that at JU. Yeah, so I lived in Germany 2.5 years. It's a really great experience to come over and just kind of check out the different cultures. In my case, like if you want to be a nurse in Germany, you kind of have to start becoming fluent. But there is some things that you can kind of get yourself pathways into jobs. So like if you work for a little bit, you could work for the CIA. If you go to the NP route, then you can find a variety of jobs through the State Department. I will say the pay discrepancies between the US and Germany are quite significant, so that's something I would always look into if you're really wanting to go there. But other than that, I would totally encourage it for the cultural exchange that you'll be able to see. So.
Okay, and what are some, and we're in Barcelona right now in Park Güell, so up on a mountain here. And what do you think are the biggest differences culturally between American society and Germany?
So German society is very rule following. So for example, like there could be nobody around you, and if you cross the street jaywalking, somebody might actually care if they see you. And in the US, we would just say, whatever. So, that's it. Even down to like throwing away trash and recycling, like, what is it? There's 5 different bins for trash. There's plastics, there's paper, there's things that can't be recycled, there's organic. So like those kinds of things are interesting.
What if you don't follow? Will you be fined?
I mean, if somebody catches you, yes. But like even like things like you can't throw away garbage past like, I think it's 10 o'clock at night because it makes too much noise if you live near people. So that's kind of interesting. Most things are not done electronically, so almost everything is paid in cash because the cultural concept is the government's watching you if you're using a credit card, so that's why they do everything in cash.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
So everything is restaurants in cash, all that kind of stuff. That's, and then even like all government paperwork, all is actual paperwork. You can't email them. There's no online forms to do things.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was a struggle with COVID actually because
that's because
you were transitioned into it a little bit during that time, and now it's all going back to paper.
So when you first went there, had COVID? Where was COVID?
Yeah, so my wife is a chemist and she got a job here, and are in Germany. And let's see what happened. So when we went for our interview, we went the week before they closed down for COVID travel, so couldn't fly international. Went back to the U.S. Had to get all these like exceptional paperwork from the German government saying we could come back during COVID for her job. And then we come over and we were in like strict lockdown for somewhere between 7 and 9 months. You couldn't go out to restaurants. You could go to the grocery store, masks everywhere as long as you're inside. All the public transportation stuff was normal, but yeah, like pretty much you could go to the grocery store and like medical necessities, and that was really it for about 7 to 9 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate because you come over and you want to experience the culture, and then it was like, nah, you're gonna be by yourself for a bit. So that part kind of sucked, but it's really nice. One thing that is shocking as Americans is there's like no AC, like 0. So when it gets legitimately hot into the summer, like we have days that get 95 Fahrenheit. People don't work. They just stay home and go to the local lake or, whatever it is. So like we live on a forest area outside of Berlin. So we just take our dog to the lake, and that's our day when it's that hot. Because you can't stay inside, you'll just sit there and burn up. And so like being from Florida, right, like it's hot outside, but you can escape it.
Right.
You can't escape it in Germany. You got to go find something that makes you cool off. So that's a little different too.
So do they have, is it nationally like declared today there's no work?
No, it's not national, but like people just know that like it's 95 degrees outside and there's no way I'm gonna get anything done inside. So like for my wife, there's like the year before we came, they shut down her department for like a month because it was a really hot year, and so there's no air conditioning inside. The only thing that's air conditioned is the labs because they have to for the equipment, but
right.
Nobody was in any offices or anything. So
did she get paid during that time or no?
Yeah.
Okay, she got
paid.
Yeah,
I mean, so like as far as like job benefits, some of their job benefits are really good. They're pretty comparable on time off. Like I think that most jobs in the US are about 28 days a year, and they're usually like 30 or 32, so it's pretty similar. They do have much better maternity leave on average.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They get 6 months paid.
Wow.
Starting, it's either 2 weeks or 2 months before you give birth generally, or your expected date. I don't remember that part very well.
Right.
I think it's 2 months though. And then you can do like partial like 60% pay for like another couple months after that.
Wow.
And I think that's pretty common across the board. You do have to be a citizen to get the public health care. So like for us, we're on private.
Okay, I was
And
going
the
to
way
ask you
that
about
works
that.
is if you're on public, you're essentially your workplace pays for it.
Okay.
If you're on private, your workplace will pay for a lot of it, and then you get the other half you have to pay for, or the other part you have to pay for. It is actually much better to be on private insurance, because then the doctor stuff actually care about you.
Oh.
Because they like know that like, oh, I get paid better if I work with private insurance versus the public.
Okay.
So like even to the extent that like some of like the local family practice areas, they have days where it's just private private insurance days. And you'll go in, it's completely different because they'll be like, oh, do you want some water? Let's go sit in the massage chair. Like it's very interesting how much of a dichotomy it is between the two. So that's really interesting. But yeah.
Wow. And do you feel with comparing the U.S. and Germany's healthcare, are there any other big issues or challenges, differences besides there's the pay and
Yeah, so like I said, the pay
coverage?
is pretty significant. I'm trying to think. I mean, I think that the one thing that we have in the U.S. that's a lot different is like if you need something that's like an elective surgery, it can be done in a week. In Germany, it's not like that. Like if you need an ACL, like you might wait a month or two because it's not like emergently needed. So they're just, they do other things first and then they'll get you in when they get you in. So that part's a little different for us.
Okay. Of course.
I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
There is no private hospital. It's all public systems. So like that's not even a thing.
Oh.
It's all public hospital systems, which is part of why the pay is low.
Okay.
Because the government controls the entire pay grade over the society. So it has to literally go through their parliament to get pay raises in the medical system.
Wow.
So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's probably, but I would say that's probably like the most significant difference is elective surgeries that just might take a while because it's not a priority in a lot of cases. They can't cycle more people through. They don't get paid extra for it. So it's just not a good incentive for them to really get it out of the way, so to speak. So, yep.
Okay, interesting. And then you've been here for, you said 2 years?
Yeah, 2.5 years, yeah.
And then you'll be here another year or so?
About a year, yeah.
Okay. And you're opting not to work because the salary differential is
The
so
salary,
big.
I mean, yeah, it probably just isn't worth it for me to work because, so this is also important. Depending on your job, you might get spousal support. So since my wife works, I think we make like 600 euros a month off of me not working.
Oh.
So like, I think we did the math and I might make like extra 4,000 euros a year to work. And I'm just like, no way. Like, it's just not, like, if you've been a nurse for a while, you just know it's a great job, but it's stressful sometimes. It's not worth that difference in pay. So, so that part, you're just like, that's pretty much probably that, and then obviously learning the language. Like German is a very learnable language. Like, I can speak on a casual level, but to speak well enough to handle somebody's healthcare is a whole different ballpark, and you have to be essentially fluent. They have levels, but I think you have to be like C1 or C2, which is a pretty like you've probably been practicing in a course for 8 months to a year at that point to be able to achieve that. So, and then you have to pass a medical terminology exam essentially too. So,
are there,
general speaking,
and so there wouldn't be any Western-based U.S. companies here that would.
To my knowledge, there isn't really anything. I mean, there may be some situations where, like, what I'm going to call like concierge services might be able to use somebody who's English speaking, but I don't know the legality of that.
Okay.
But once again, with the pay difference, it's just not worth it.
It's not worth it.
So yeah, that's kind of, from what I've seen, that's it. Honestly, if you want to work here, the easy and better pay route would be doing it through the U.S. government, through some type of foreign missions or, embassy work or something like that.
Yeah.
So like we live right next to an embassy and they have a nurse on staff all the time. And I think the pay when I looked was like 55 a year or 60,000 USD a year, which is plenty. It's enough to live off in Berlin. So yeah. Yep.
Great. Well,
any other questions?
I think that's it. Thank you so much. It was so great meeting you here in Spain, in Barcelona, and good luck with your next year.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye bye.
See you.